There we go. I don't know about y'all, but let me rephrase. Everyone at some point in their business struggles with the feeling of being stuck at some point. I don't care if you're a diamond. I don't care if you're a senior silver or a new ambassador. I don't care who you are. At some point or another, we run into that feeling of being stuck. And so I was literally telling Lisa this the other day. And what's funny was right when I said it, this notification popped up on my phone from the Rainies and it said, "How to get unstuck." And I was like, okay, Lord, I hear you loud and clear. So we're going to be talking about how to push past that feeling when we feel stuck. But I wanted to start with some other things first, some encouragement that I have needed this week. Y'all, I'm going to be preaching to myself today. So I don't know about y'all, but like I thrive on routine. And anytime I have to figure out a new routine, it causes me to have this just whirlwind of feelings. I feel behind, like I feel stuck. I feel like I have a hard time. I feel like I'm like trying to grasp. Some of it has to do with the control, like things feel out of control, right? And we're desperately trying to find our footing. That has been me the last few weeks because we are very much in a new season. And what I love is that the changing of seasons was actually part of that feeling of feeling stuck and what they talked about. So I'm going to dive further into that, but I want to start with this first. Your worth and value are not found in your back office. Your worth and value are not found in your back office. Your back office is simply an indicator of how close you are to your goals, but could never hold the entirety of your value. Your calling should be louder than the opinions of others. Your God-given calling should be louder than the opinions of others. Not that we shouldn't value others' opinions, but they are not to rule over us. Big goals take big efforts. Everything worth accomplishing is uphill and takes so much faith. So much faith. We are taking courageous action. Comparing your progress with someone else's never leads you down the right path. You've heard me say this before. Winners focusing on winning and losers focus on winners. Everyone's journey is different. There are some people who can come in and just kill it and they do it super fast. And then there's some people that take 5 years. Is the one that take 5 years any less important or any less value than the person who comes in and does it at a super fast speed? No, it just means that their journey is different, and that's okay. That is okay. Leaders are simply those who go first. When you lead, you don't have to know exactly where you are headed. You simply take the first step for your team. Consistency. Oh, I scream this to my team all the time. Consistency beats intensity every time. Every time. What helps us achieve our goals? Consistent daily action. Intensity is going to fade, y'all. And what happens, it's like whenever we go to camp and we get, like all riled up. I know, like, I'm going to use this as an example. Whenever we would go to like church camp, right? And we'd be so on fire and we'd come home and we'd be like, yeah, we're going to like go do all the things. And then what happens? That fire kind of fizzles out. And then we're like, what do we do now? Right? Consistent daily action. That beats intensity every time. You do not need to be perfect, just present. Perfection is overrated. Your people just want you to show up. Oftentimes we don't show up because we feel like we have to have all the things in line and in a row, right?
Once again,
but we don't.
C31.
We don't have to have them in line.
Please see customer service over there. Get your bag tag. You'll take it down to the bottom of the jet bridge.
And so
I do not have.
You do not need to be perfect.
Oh, hey, Allie, if you want to just hit mute, Lisa. I think Lisa's on the plane, maybe. And is oh, there we go. If
Oh,
everyone can
thank you.
just hit, yeah.
I don't even know how to do that. All right. You do not need to be perfect, just present. Be present for your people. People need to know that you don't have to be perfect to do this. They need to see imperfection because nobody's perfect. They need to see your authentic self. That is what is going to draw people. Your authentic self. You are loved. Simple but true and often forgotten. I have said this so many times this week. This community is unlike anything else. This community genuinely cares about everyone. They care about where you are. They care about your story. You are not just a number. I firmly believe that is why Plexus is so successful, is because they genuinely care. Each customer means something, and they show that. So make sure that whenever you have someone sign on, I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Don't be a drain, be a fountain. Show them that they are loved, that they are appreciated. Tell them thank you. Be there, be present for them. What you are fighting through now will be your testimony later. All the hard, all the struggle, it will lead to a testimony that will inspire others. This is why it is so important not to compare yourself, because your testimony of how you got there is going to affect someone completely different than maybe someone else's story who's meant to affect somebody else. Your story is unique. It's on purpose. It's for a reason. I love Brittany Howard said this in her most recent podcast. She said, I'm a slow starter, but I am a strong finisher. For some people like me, I can totally relate to that. It takes me, I have to work a little harder. I was that way in school. Like I was the person, my husband, it made me so mad. We went in and took our ACTs on the same day, and he slept through an entire portion and still made a better score than I did. He didn't even have to try. That made me so mad. I studied for days and I still didn't come close. But you know what? It didn't matter because the path that I went on, I didn't even need my ACT scores. Everyone else's journey is different. Our stories are different. And we're meant to impact people differently. And when we quit focusing on where everyone else is in their journeys and we press in to what is it about my journey that I am supposed to learn? If I'm still here at this particular place, what is it that I am missing that I am supposed to know about where I am? And you didn't get lucky. Stop chalking up past victories to, oh, I just got lucky. No, you put in the work. You did the things. You showed up. And that's what it takes. I've heard this so many times. I've heard Alita say this so many times. If you can make it to gold, then you have everything that it takes to make it to diamond. Does it mean that we have to adjust as we go? Absolutely. I may not be Diamond Alley yet, but I am on my way to becoming her. It is a journey. It is a process. And oftentimes we miss the beauty of our journeys because I'm so guilty of this. I want it to happen now. And I focus more on the fact that I'm not there yet, rather than the beauty of my journey and who I'm becoming in the process. That is part of our story, y'all. It's so important. So I'm going to talk about the 5 ways to get unstuck. Revisit and revitalize your why. Shift it if you need to. This was big for me this week because a big part of my why has been my husband has worked a job for the last several years that it drained the life out of him, sucked everything out of him. And he would come home miserable. And that fueled me. I had this notion that I needed to rescue my husband from this job that he hated and he felt obligated to do to take care of our family. And so, long story short, he got a new job opportunity that he loves. He's so happy, the happiest I have seen him when it comes to work in years. Financially, it has been a little less stressful for us. So all these things that kind of fueled me before, I've kind of been like over here twiddling my thumbs like, okay, well this was the thing that was driving me. So then I literally stopped and I was spending some time in prayer over it and I was like, okay, Lord, so what am I missing about why I'm really here? Right? Who am I meant to impact that maybe I was so focused on my own journey and getting myself where I felt like I needed to be rather than who am I supposed to be searching for who needs the lifeline that I have to offer? When we become more focused on helping others in this journey and in this process and helping them hit their goals and helping them find freedom, and it's not so much about just how do I make this better for my personal situation? Y'all, it changes things. What is your purpose here? Why are we here? That's the beautiful thing about what we do. We are the CEOs of our own business. Everyone's story is different. I post for leaders and I accept customers. This is an answer. So all of these that I'm sharing with you, these were all answers that the top leaders in our company gave to the Rainies while they were there. He was going around asking each diamond, why, like, what do you do to get unstuck? And these were their answers. And she said, I post for leaders and I accept customers. And she said, what I mean by that is I'm always posting for the business. I'm always sharing about the opportunity. She said, because that's where I feel called. But when I do share, like in her story, she shares about the product. She said, when people message me, or if I send something to someone and I'm like, hey, just wanted you to know we're doing this right now. I think you would love these products. And they're like, yes, I want it. She accepts customers, but she's always posting for leaders. When you feel stuck, evaluate how you're spending your time. Y'all, this was big for me because I would be like, I'm doing the things, but what am I doing in my spare time? When I'm sitting down, am I sending messages or am I scrolling Facebook? Or am I scrolling Instagram? I have challenged my team this week. Anytime you sit down and you feel the need to scroll, send a message. You know how many messages you would get done whenever we sit down? You know how many hours I can, like, especially at night, because I don't watch a lot of TV. When I hit the bed, that's like my wind down time. And sometimes I do want to get on. I want to scroll, I want to catch up, what's going on in everybody's world, right? Catch up on messages. But I get caught and I keep going and I keep going. That's time I could be sending messages. We make excuses that we don't have time, but yet we do have time for other things that really are not moving the needle forward. Are we spending our time on the right things? Right? If we say we don't have time, are we spending our time on the right things? Sometimes we have to reevaluate and say, okay, if this is what I really want, am I really putting my time and effort into things that are serving this purpose that I feel called to? So, do we need to reevaluate? Do we need to shift things around? Do I need to schedule out or whatever that looks like for you in your day? And then I love this one. They remember the wins. It's so easy whenever we don't hit a goal to be like, well, I didn't this, I didn't that, I failed here, I failed that, right? Whatever. Our minds take off and we start pointing out all the things that we did wrong. But it's so important to look back and be like, you know what, though? I did get this. I did get here. I made it to gold. I made it to senior gold. I made it to emerald, right? I made it on the cruise. I helped somebody this month feel their best. I had a customer who actually is sleeping through the night again. I had a customer who was able to come off their diabetes medication. Those are wins. And if we focus on the wins, we become less fixated on the things that we feel like we didn't do enough of, or we didn't do right, or whatever that looks like. This is hard for me. I am a high achiever. And when I don't hit the goals that I set for myself, I start nitpicking all the things that I did wrong or I didn't do enough of or whatever. It is so important to stop and remember the wins. Okay. I feel like the things I really, if nothing else, the things I want you to remember from today. Remember your worth and value are not found in your back office. Remember that you are loved. You don't have to be perfect. Consistency beats intensity every time. A leader just means you're willing to go first. You're willing to take courageous action. I remember I called Alita whenever our team started to actually explode. And I said, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be a leader. She said, well, what is your definition of a leader? Define it. Like, what do you see as a leader? And I was like, oh, I don't know, someone who knows what they're doing. And she was like, no, someone who's just willing, someone who's willing to show up, someone who's willing to show up for others, imperfection and all. That's all it is. What you're fighting through now will be your testimony later. Quit focusing on everyone else's journey. I've had to say this so many times to my team this week. They get frustrated because they're not where they want to be. And I'm like, stop focusing, head down, blinders on. Stop focusing on what everybody else is doing. Focus on your journey. Focus on your path. There's a reason for it. And if you're kind of in it right now and you're like, honestly, I really don't know why I'm here, then reevaluate. Spend some time and figure out, what is your purpose? Why are you here? What makes your story unique? We're not here to follow the herd. We're here to step out and be the CEOs of our company and make impacts, because everyone's story is going to be different. All right. Last thing, it's Magic Week. Hats on backwards, right? We're going to do the things. We're going to show up. We're going to reevaluate. We're going to take accountability for our actions. If we're not where we want to be, it's nobody else's fault. If we're not where we want to be, what do we have to do to get there? Y'all have a freaking awesome Magic Week. I love y'all. We'll talk to you later.